that title was yours?
Did they give you the board that Liam was out?
No.
Yes or no? Okay.
No, they didn't. They didn't. Let's say I knew, because I knew that like Oliver and Benistan was possible to pass, so I wanted to pass them. But once that I get them, the other two, they were already really far. And I also didn't think like to try to even, yeah, it was not in the plan to try to get them, you know.
Yeah.
But I was, like I said before, I was completely relaxed, and if that was coming in Major, I was more than happy. If it was coming in Materi, I was also happy. I mean, I was not searching it, but once that I saw Liam, because they didn't give the pit board, but I saw Liam on the finish line, and I was a bit sad, because I said, yeah, for sure happened something, because I lapped him, and I was a bit sad about that. But I also, at the time, realized that last 2 laps, realized that I just had to finish the race and become world champion. So
okay, a couple more questions because we are running out of time. It wasn't all plain sailing. You mentioned the mistake in race 1 when you landed heavily and you hit the chest, you couldn't breathe. Was that a we have the clip here, was that a moment for you where you just thought, wow, okay, now I have to just ride smart a little bit here, because it could have gone differently, but it didn't? We see the replay. What was going through your mind when you landed heavily off that jump? Because the hand came off and the head...
Yes. No, actually, at that time, I didn't realize that was really an hard impact. After I saw, and like, I knew that was hard, but when I saw, I thought that was really dangerous, that, you know?
Yeah.
But that took me 2 laps for really start to breathe again, because for 1 lap I even couldn't see good.
Yeah.
So yeah, but at that point I set up again and then I went.
Okay.
Well, you wrapped the title up with a round to go. Would it be fair to say that the game changer, the round that really made the difference, was Finland? Because you left there with a 60-point lead.
Yeah, actually was really Finland, the GP where I turned the championship, because Jago was out just in first lap of first moto, and me, I did actually a perfect weekend, 1-1. That was unbelievable. I was feeling so strong that weekend, and honestly, from one side I was really I was sad that Jago was not there, because I wanted to see really what I was able to do with him also. You know?
Yeah, and obviously now we're at the final round. You've got the title. Is it just now the pressure's off? You're just going to enjoy it. Just enjoy the moment. Exactly,
because like I said yesterday, we are in one of the best track of the calendar.
Yeah.
So I will fully enjoy.
Cool.
This weekend.
Look, congratulations, Andrea Adamo, the new MX2 World Champion. Enjoy this weekend. Enjoy the Motocross of Nations, and enjoy the off season being World Champion.
Thank you so much, guys.
Cool.
Thanks,
right, our next guest is getting ready to come join us, Jorge Prado. Before that, though, here's a quick snippet, a little mini version of Behind the Gate, episode 18. Riders are on the storm. Something to do with mind games and how riders deal with ups and downs. Enjoy. The life and career of a motocross rider can be quite challenging, certainly not straightforward.
There's so many highs, there's so many lows. It's a sport where I think every rider at some point of their career is on a journey.
I would say for me, 2021 was a really eye-opener for me, with missing the whole season because of my wrist injury, going through 3 surgeries just to try and get back on the bike, and not even knowing if I would ever be able to get back on the bike.
There are a lot of riders on the grid in both classes who have been through quite a bit. They're the riders that really kind of find themselves asking a lot of questions of themselves, trying to go a little bit deeper to, you know, self-assess and self-analyze, if you like.
I know many of these riders have done some soul-searching in their career. And it's just about looking at their career, looking about the sport, looking about the results, and these GP weekends differently.
Everything you've ever known is motocross your whole life, and when that's taken away from you, and when you're faced with the reality of maybe you're never ever going to be able to do that again, you got to start accepting it first, and then also appreciating that it happened, because I always believed in life that everything happens for a reason.
Hello everybody, welcome back to part 2 of our live studio show here on MXGP TV with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland, where our second guest joins us now, Red Bull Gas Factory Racing, Jorge Prado, the new MXGP World Champion. And Jorge, congratulations first of all, welcome to our final studio show, and your journey from 65cc FIM Junior World Champion to MXGP World Champion is finally complete. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What a journey you've been on from then till now.
Yeah, like you said, it's been crazy. You know, if I look back to all the titles I've won and stuff, it's I can look back and I can feel proud about what I did, but still I can also look into the future and see that I still can accomplish many more things. So. But you know, getting the MXGP title, it's been always a dream for me, and to make it come true, it's out of words, to be honest.
And actually, it looks like when you crossed the line at the end of race 1, you genuinely had no idea that you'd won the title. I was watching it the other day, preparing these clips. Even the final pit board on the very last lap, did you see anything on the pit board that said you were world champion? Because when you crossed the line, you kind of saw everybody with like, what, me? And, you know.
Well, I didn't know anything. Yeah. I was just so focused on just getting that race win, and I think it's something that happened a lot this year. I maybe felt a little bit of stress when I was out, not on track, but just daily life, you know, because I had such a big pressure just to being first in the championship, and I just really wanted to make it happen. But when I go on the bike, I just focus so much on my races that I didn't know I crossed the finish line. And
this was a rubbish whip, by the way. It was a rubbish whip.
Yeah.
Your comment afterwards was like, if I'd have known, I'd have done a bigger whip.
Of course. I mean, world champion, you know, I would have thrown a bigger whip. So, but no, I didn't know anything. I just crossed the finish line. I was like, yeah, what a moto. And then I just looked to the right and I see all my friends, family, the team, everyone there just waiting to celebrate. I was like, all right, I'm world champion. I didn't even expect it to get it so early. So, yeah, no, super, super happy.
Perfect.
Well, this title, Jorge, I know I spoke to you straight after this race, seems to have hit you a little bit more emotionally than your MX2 titles. Why is that?
Well, first of all, because MXGP, it's the toughest class there is. You know, we race the best riders race in this category. So obviously, winning it's something very, very difficult. And I've been the last years, let's say, a few times, let's say, battling for the title and just very close to not to win it, but to just fighting for it. So just to make it come through, it's been crazy. The season is so long, and just to stay healthy all year long, it's so tough. Also, mentally, physically, you know, it's a tough championship. So I just felt very proud of how good I could manage the whole season, and to finally prove also to myself, hey, I'm also champion, and it's crazy.
Well, you led the series from the very first round. You had that red plate. But would you say perhaps the game changer, the round that really made the difference, was Germany? Because you went in there 15 points clear, and you left with a 67-point lead. So that was the turning point, wasn't it?
Well, I think there were a couple of races this year where I knew were important. And for example, Germany, I knew this track was good for me. So already from Saturday on, I put the hammer down and I won the quali race. Then first moto, I pushed Jeffrey till the very, very end, and he made a mistake. He couldn't hold on to the pressure. So I felt like I did a perfect weekend over there. Also in the second moto, just attacking in the last minutes to get it done. And I think I managed very well, like I said before, this season, and knowing very well when I had to go a little bit extra. And Germany, like you said, it's been it was a good turning point in the season. As Jeffrey, let's say, he got injured, and I had a good points gap.
I guess it kind of released the pressure a little bit, the tension, because you haven't got somebody just there. You know, the gap was bigger, so you could not relax completely, but manage it a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah, it's more about managing, and sometimes it's even more difficult because you see and you don't need to, but you gotta do it. It's still, you know, you still gotta go out to the track and give your 100%, so you don't lose the focus, and that's something very tough. To don't lose the focus when you actually have a points lead that big, you know, and the weeks go by and the pressures getting bigger and bigger, and the bag it's heavier. So the last weeks have been very tough, but yeah, we make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, the middle of the season, it was clear that Roman was probably your closest challenger. When he won 5 GPs in a row, were you kind of like laughing a little bit inside? Because even though he was winning and having all that Grand Prix success, the gap wasn't changing, wasn't it? It was always around 98, 100 points.
Yeah.
So from that side, it was kind of must have been like a strange scenario, because even though on paper he's doing all the Grand Prix winning, you're still there with the big lead, almost 100 points. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's also weird for him, you know, to be in a situation where you're winning the GPS, but then in the championship nothing changes, you know, or maybe 1 or max 2 points. That's nothing, and it's difficult, but consistency is the key. And I've been very consistent all year long, doing very well in the qualifyings, and then very good motos. So yeah, I mean, I need to say he was racing very good, but at the same time, I was doing very well as too. So
yeah. Well, look, in the winter, you moved back to Belgium. You worked again with Joel Smets, maybe for the first time. And I guess a lot of people were sort of saying maybe you needed this. And I don't know if it was because, you know, as good as the Decali team is and has been for you, maybe it was just like, sometimes you just need a change, and whether that's you needed to work harder, ride more, ride less, train harder, whatever it was, just a different environment. Whatever it was a winning combination. How did you feel about that whole having to go there, and did you embrace it?
Well, actually, I didn't have to, but I decided to go there.
So it was your decision to go, yeah?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I take my own decisions, and especially this year, so I could really do what I wanted to do, and I think that made a change. I knew it was important to go to Belgium, and together with Joel, we make a good program. We move around. We went a little bit to Spain in the off-season. We go a little bit to Italy. We move around. You know, it's something I really wanted to do and not stick always to Malagrota. And yeah, I think that was great. We could, let's say, progress with the bike and make a much better bike for this year, and this was very needed. So it was a great program we made this year. I have already the experience from the last years and the things that worked and not. So I think we have a very good base, and it was fun. It was a fun year. I wouldn't say more work or less work, but it was just different, and really we did really what I felt like I had to do, and it's been working very well. So I'm very happy that we could also manage to find that great program that fits me, and I'm super happy.
Yeah. Well, in Majora, how was it lining up for race 2? Because you just wrapped up the title, obviously celebrated a little bit in between the races. Was it hard to refocus for that second race?
Well, I think it's been hard physically because I was celebrating a lot with the team. In between motos, I didn't even sit. I didn't even eat. I didn't drink. So I was just like that just before the start of Moto 2. But I was like, okay, let's focus again. And I got a whole shot. And I was like, okay, let's go. But the track, I was struggling a little bit with the track with no ruts and so hard. I just struggled a little bit. And at the end of the Moto, I catch the guys again. But I lost the front and I lost the victory. But it's fun. I mean, racing with #1 has been always a dream, and finally I can put it on my bike, and it's crazy.
Well, I was going to say, how was it? And next year, are you planning #1 or the 61 on the bike?
Yeah, probably the #1.
Yeah.
We will see, but yeah,
not decided yet.
Looks good. Not decided, but almost.
Yeah. And actually, this weekend I was watching in the free practice. You have the 61 is faded out, and the 1 is still there. So
that's nice.
Enjoying it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and finally, after so many months of a lot of pressure on me, I can come out to this track and enjoy it and ride like let's say, without pressure. But still, I want to go out there and win. So I have that extra pressure as well of being the champion, and I want to really go out there and do good. And it's nice. It's nice to be here today. The weather is looking very good. Track, it's amazing one. I think the best track of the season. So let's enjoy it.
All right. Well, look, Jorge Prado, congratulations on your third title, your first in MXGP. Enjoy your weekend here. Enjoy the Motocross of Nations in 2 weeks, and we'll see you back on the grid next year in MXGP.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thanks,
well, look, our final guest is waiting to come and join us, Joel Smets. Before that, though, another little snippet from our latest episode of Behind the Gate, and more mind games from Riders on the Storm. You have to really kind of start breaking down and analysing everything in every little scenario. And it can be in the form of someone like Valentin Guillot, for instance, your training partner with Yves de Maria.
Yeah, you know, when you win, you have everyone around you, and you can have all what you want. You ask, they give you. Me, I knew both now. I had experience in both sides, when you're on top, but also when you are underground. My best season ever was in 2015. Yeah, we were fighting for the world title till few races. And then, it started after 2016. I stopped working with Yves de Maria, but then the struggle start, the injury start, and from the top, I go down under the water, and I was trying to do my best to go out of my head out of the water, but it was not working.
And then there was the spiral. Yeah, there were some injuries, but there was just this mad, almost depression from him, you know, where we saw his career just kind of falling and falling and falling.
So then I had a really bad time of my career between 2018 and 19, where for me was over. Motocross, I didn't ride all winter and didn't want to do that, you know. I was really down, really mentally down. Then one friend said, yeah, but you want to continue racing or riding? Then I say, you know, it's like 4 months that they didn't ride, and I don't know. And then he said, okay, take one bike, go ride, and you will see if you like. And then I've been on the bike, and I say, yeah, for sure, I like that.
I'm so in love with you, girl. You make me feel brand new.
End of 2021, I contact again Yves de Maria, and I told him, yeah, you know, it's with you that I was making my best result, and I was enjoying, you know, training and all that stuff. January 2022, we start working again and rebuilding myself to arrive now to be one consistent rider in the top 10.
My goodness.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our live studio show there. Big, deep breath. Did you hear that? He did.
Joel, I can't breathe. I've got a cold.
All right.
Breathe,
Okay,
that's what
no worries.
And let's go.
All right. We'll try that again, just for these two.
Yeah, almost made me scared.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, welcome back to our final part in our live studio show, our final studio show of the season here at the MXGP of Great Britain, Matterley Base. And our final guest, five-time world champion and team trainer to both Andrea Adamo and Jorge Prado, joins us now. Welcome, Joel Smets. And first of all, though, a successful weekend last weekend. Congratulations. Explain what it means to you personally to see Andrea Adamo and Jorge Prado win those titles and be crowned world champion, just on a personal level.
Feels like honestly, I'm still dreaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. You reach a lot in your own career. Yeah, winning your championships starts with winning GPs, winning championships, winning nations and stuff like that. And then you think you've seen everything. But the emotions I went through, say, it has been building up, of course, through the year. Jorge having the red plate from the first GP, then Andrea making steps during the season, getting stronger and stronger, hanging on to that red plate stronger and stronger. And yeah, I think when I won my first championship myself, I didn't sleep the last week. But before Majora, after Turkey, I didn't sleep for 2 weeks. I have to admit. So, yeah, it means a lot. I don't know if it has happened in history before, but yeah, we came into the season and we thought we had with the two of them, we had a really small training group, which could be strong. But of course, I could have never predicted that it was going to turn out this way. So, on a personal point, it was definitely a big thing.
And I guess from Andrea's perspective, it was more straightforward because he was new coming into the team. He's there to learn. And he needed to be there for that kind of next development of his growth, didn't he? And how did you kind of devise all of that, the situation with him?
Yeah, there's definitely a big difference between the situation beginning of the year with Jorge and with Andrea. With Jorge, the ambition was clear, was to fight for the championship. Yeah. With Andrea, it was like, trying to take the next step and trying to fight for podiums and eventually try to finish on the podium at the end of the season. That was the ambition, so it was quite different. So definitely with Andrea, we really worked step by step let's say, and really trying to be consistent top 5, aim for podiums all the time. And if you aim for podiums, then the win will follow as well. If you're good enough. But I didn't want to skip a step. It's very important with these kids to really go step by step.
Yep. Well, coming into the Red Bull KTM team can be quite nerve-wracking for a rider. What did you, Joel, bring to the table to really help Andrea settle in? And what would you think was the biggest challenge to get him to think like a world champion?
The main thing was to not make him think like a world champion.
Okay.
First, to adapt to being a factory rider. Organization-wise, structure-wise, everything's quite different, and only that can be quite overwhelming. But I think the strength of our team is, and that's not only me, but okay, of course, I'm 24/7 with these boys. I'm a big part of it, but it's also everybody else around in the team. We managed to create an atmosphere where not only the riders, but also even the mechanics and everybody, because sometimes a mechanic also comes in new, and it's a little bit the same. Even for a mechanic, there can be a lot of pressure. Being the mechanic of a world champion is not easy. So, but we create such an atmosphere where the rider feel comfortable and relax, and that makes it more easy to work step by step. They believe in our plan, let's say.
Yeah. Well, when he won here in Trentino, it seemed like an emotional win for you.
Yeah.
We know there's a lot of KTM history wrapped up in those mountains there. You've got Tony, Jorge, Rene. Would you say this victory with Andrea and also Liam up on the podium, do you think that just got you differently?
Yeah, it's
because there were a few tears that day for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even still now it goes to my backbone.
Yeah.
It's really strange. Like we walked a long way with Rene, and with Rene winning his first GP there. Yeah. We just said before the interview the head is something strange, but we really felt like, and then with Andrea going to win his first GP ever, we really felt Rene was on our side there, and yeah, it's hard to bring to words, but and if you haven't been in that situation like we had, or like I had personally, I can't explain, but it's really weird and strong, and it still is.
Well, look, a couple of minutes to go, 3 questions. Talking about Jorge, did you ever imagine that his season would turn out the way that it did? Not necessarily as world champion, but the consistency that he had that led to him becoming world champion? Because he only missed the podium twice.
Yes. Yeah, but no, I counted on that, actually.
Yeah.
I knew that Jorge, from the beginning of the year, that consistency was going to be the key.
Yeah.
And we kept on focusing on that, because I think Jorge has still, even if he's already really good and already a world champion, but he can still make progression, I do believe. And I knew if guys like Timmy and Romain and Maxime and Jeffrey were going to be there, that maybe I was quite sure that consistency was going to be the key. If he wanted to win the championship, just be there all the time. His starts, of course, being key, but we've been really pushing, being positive about the consistency, because Jorge is the type of guy that not quickly will push over his limits, but it has paid off, you see. So that was really important, because sometimes even myself, I was on the side of the track, and then in some of the motos, I even remember already the second moto in Argentina, the very first GP, I was like, hey, Jorge, come on, put your heart more in it, you know, like come on, fight a bit more. But he says, sorry, Joel, I didn't have the good feeling, and I don't want to overdo it. And I said, hey, but that's fully fine. So and we kept focusing on consistency, and he just did perfect.
Final question.
Well, when did you start to see real improvement in what Jorge was doing, and when did you think, actually, this could be Jorge's year?
Like, was there a specific GP? We've got about 30, 40 seconds left.
Germany.
Yeah.
Easy. Germany easy, because that's a track he likes, and that's a track where he could put up the fight really with Jeffrey. And I think somehow, okay, Jeffrey made a mistake, but he did not make that mistake by coincidence. Jorge really pushed him there to the limit, and probably over the limit. So I think that was really the turning point where I said, fuck, that kid can really do it.
Excuse the French. Apologies there for the language. Well, look, Joel, it's been a fantastic season for you, for the whole of the Red Bull Gas, Red Bull KTM team as well. The Nastan boys are not having a bad season either, but fantastic for the whole KTM group. Congratulations. I'm sure you'll all enjoy it. Enjoy this final round here at the wonderful Matterley Basin.
Yes.
And we'll see you at the Motocross of Nations and, of course, on the gate next year.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
well,
Joel.
look, we are out of time. Thanks from myself and Lisa. That's our final studio show of 2023. We'll be back in 2 weeks at the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations in Ernay, where we'll have the Riders Parade on Friday. Coming up on today, though, we've got EMX 125 Race 1 presented by FMF Racing. Their final round, a champion can still be crowned this weekend. Will it be today or tomorrow? You'll just have to stay tuned to find out. And then we've got EMX 250 and the Ram qualifying races to follow later on today. We are out of time. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.